There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again, and then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the army of Ukraine, our army.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former intern's tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
This 22 April 2024, in the year of our dumpster fire again, or a protest, whatever you want to call it. Well, that's some spicy stuff going on in the universities, right? Anyways, I'm your host. Welcome to the Monday edition. U.S. Army WTF Moments, WTF Nation Radio. Broadcasting on all streams. It looks like we're all broadcasting live. So that's pretty cool. We're looking at I got to see some traffic on the other YouTube channels. I want to give a shout out to all the fans out there following on different platforms. I understand there's just some platforms that you guys don't want to listen to. So some of them, I don't want to be on Facebook. Okay, then you can go on 2 YouTube pages. I don't want to be on YouTube. Then you can go on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Back in the day, what it was called Twitter. Hand pink waving. Hey, what's up, hater? Anyways, so we're going to have an interesting night tonight. Actually, we're going to have a pretty good discussion. We're going to have a Laura from Faster, Colorado coming and join us at 9 o'clock. And we're going to get into some good discussion. This is this discussion that I liked to talk about, specifically when it comes to the issues of guns and gun control and gun safety and all that. And this is something that I've not seen before in the debate, I guess you would say, or in the conversation. So, of course, once we saw this, we had to make sure that Faster Colorado was able to join us, because I think this is a pretty good idea. It's pretty squared away. So, with that, welcome to the show. We had 500 cars doing a pop up. Right? What's up, Mike? What's up, everybody? Hi, I see everybody in the chats. Hey. All right, so real quick, what's going on with the protests? There's there's a lot of universities out there. There's some Ivy League universities that are protesting on our support or non-support, or what looks like some support of Israel, and support or non-support or possible support to the Palestinians. And man, it's fire. It's pretty interesting to see everybody go ape shit and discuss this topic. While at the same time we're sending more money and munitions and a support package to Ukraine and Israel. So this is this is going to be the talk, man. I like the debate. This is good. I got a ton of Nikes. Oh, well, see, that's what I was about to talk. I was just about ready to talk about, Susan, is that there is some peer pressure on these universities protesting to protest with them, to protest along. And I'll be honest with you, seeing some of the faces that you would see protesting is not what you would see normally for a type of protest. What is that one joke that we always talk about? White liberal women with an internet connection. Peer pressure. Yeah, exactly, JT. I'm seeing a lot of white kids doing this protesting. I'll just come out and say it. And holy shit. The back and forth of who you can or who you cannot support, or who you should not support, or voice a support, immediately places you in a bracket to where you are labeled immediately You're not a good person. Oh, thank man, Susan. You're looking over my notes. If you're not a good person if you don't support Ukraine, you're not a good person if you don't support Israel. You're not a good person if you don't support Palestine. You're not a good person if you don't support any. You better support what I support, or else you're not a good person. And you know, we can all come to an agreement that if you say anything about Taylor Swift, then there's drama. But I am, dude, the amount of hate on social media. The amount of it, it's literally, we have members of our Congress that are saying, if you're not supporting this or not admitting they're supporting it, the fighting back and forth. Ooh, there's even talking about removal of the speaker. This is news. This is what I'm talking about. I love the debate. It's all about the debate. It's all about the debate. Now there's a Washington Post article that talked about Biden's problem with younger voters isn't about Gaza. Imagine giving a shit about what a purple-haired walrus thinks. Why does it got to be a walrus? It could be a rhino. You never know, John. But it is. Hey, look, we are coming out of the GWOT. 20 years of war, 2 decades of war, and what's funny is that if we talk about, any veteran talks about it, says, hey, look, I don't feel like we should be supporting this because we're afraid we're going to go to war. There's this war happening. You're escalating. We're going to get us in World War III, yada, yada. And then you'll see another veteran who supports it and whatever. And we'll immediately attack that veteran and says, you're not an American because you didn't support the thing that everybody else supports. And I'm like, that's kind of like everybody who's served, who spent some time overseas and has deployed a couple times. I'm not talking about the ones that hit out. I'm not talking about the ones that were TRADOC campers that stayed in their assignments for so long to avoid the GWOT, and then now that the GWOT is over, now all of a sudden they have these great ideas of what we should be doing to support or not support a country, or what is considered genocide or what is not considered genocide, because now that argument's coming up. And they yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. Facebook Rangers, exactly. I'm just blown away at not the discussion of it, because there is no discussion. It's the fact that they're calling each other names and saying that if you don't support this, you support Putin. If you don't support this, you don't support Israel, or you support Palestine, or you support Hamas, or you support this, or you don't support that. And I'm like, holy shit. I think a veteran who's spent a couple times downrange has the opportunity to speak and say, yeah, I don't feel like we should be doing this because of what we've seen before. Okay, that's perfectly acceptable. If you guys just not paid attention to this or just tuning in, every Monday that I broadcast, we broadcast Defense of Ukraine and the Come Back Alive Foundation videos, and we mixed it up with some other videos too from Ukraine in our support. Same thing we feel about Israel. Just because we do that doesn't mean we support genocide. It doesn't mean that we don't support or do support. Now, if you say anything wrong or you say anything bad, we have individuals that are not questioning the dropping of the atomic bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And you're kind of not knowing what you can't fix a hoe. She got to fix herself, America. Baconator, what's your takes? Canada needs more soldiers. Young people are trying to be a good person. It's total peer pressure, but not the physical chemical drugs at this time. It's the dopamine with some of adrenaline that some will make you feel like you're feeling good or doing something really good. I would tend to agree with that. Some of it looks like a little bit of peer pressure. That the individuals that are protesting the support of the Palestinians would not be the type of individuals that would be supported if they were in Palestine or Israel or in Gaza or the West Bank. And that's like when you see the Queers for Palestine protesters, and you're thinking, you realize that lifestyle that you have would not be tolerated at all. I'm at the point where you do support Putin. Wow. Okay. Well, that is your. Why would you support Putin? My question is, no hate. I'm not going to sit there and call you a piece of shit or something like that if you say that. Are you saying you just support Putin because you're fucking tired of all the fucking drama back and forth? Or are you saying that you just don't feel like we should be supporting it, so you're supporting the other team? If that makes any sense. So tell me what you mean by that. And then, again, no hate on you. Because there's some individuals that are just tired of war. that don't want to keep continuously having to go, because then you're like, fuck, man, why do we gotta go back? Why do we gotta go back? So I appreciate the conversation. I love that conversation, as a matter of fact, but I don't understand why immediately, like I posted something too. I posted something about the protesters when they marked up and vandalized the wall of a national cemetery in Los Angeles. And I said, at this point, I don't give a fuck. At this point, I don't care. I don't care what Israel does to Gaza. And immediately, I was labeled a war crime. I support war crimes and, I'm paraphrasing, of course, genocide. And I'm all about the genocide now because, oh no, because I'm not going to support your cause. When there's other individuals that would say the same thing, blocking fucking traffic. So if I say, hey, I need to get to work, or I need to, get to the hospital, an ambulance driver needs to get to the hospital so they can take a patient, or the fire truck needs to go through the traffic that you're blocking, and you need to get the fuck out of the way, does that mean now that you support genocide? Just because you're telling motherfuckers to get out of the way? All about the support of protesting. I don't mind it. There are areas to which you can support. This whole new fad, it's almost like soldiers wearing no tops now. Soldiers are now walking around with no tops, incompleting the uniform, fucking up their uniform so that way they can, I don't know why they don't want to be in complete uniform, but it's the new thing. All of a sudden just popped up. Standing in the middle of traffic is now the big deal. And if you don't support somebody standing in traffic, that means you're against or you are for whatever they like to do it. You're like fucking in a circular infinity fucking conversation of whataboutisms on both sides. When I said, I don't give a fuck what Israel does to Gaza, immediately, there was no, Ken, what did you mean by that? What did you mean by you don't give a fuck what Israel does to Gaza? What did you mean by that? Instead, I'm fucking, this guy right here is I would not putting this on the twitter.com. This guy supports genocide. Oh, don't play coy with me. You support genocide. Wow. What was that fervor there during 9/11? As a matter of fact, did you deploy? Did you deploy? I just wanted to see if you deployed. I don't want to be in the middle of the middle. Exactly. I don't want to be in the middle of here. I love how those who protest, however, sitting in the middle of the road are called speed bumps. Support our partners, but we are paying for wars that we're not even in our own economies and doing amazing. Our foreign policy delusions have to, oh my God, you ain't lying, Cass. Our foreign policy delusions. What do we have for foreign policy anymore? I don't even know what's going on. It's like when you see the president or the administration tweet or post something, it's almost like those bots. Sex in bio. Tits in bio. Ass in bio. Trashed foreign policy in bio. If you don't care, you would just stay off the fucking road and drop off the air at the airport. Yeah, they're blocking airports too. That's what tripped me out. An entryway to an airport. Hey, I'm about ready to do some traveling in about a couple of weeks. Don't be stopping. I'm gonna tell my Uber, here's another spot. Do you ever feel like just veering to the right sometimes? That's the thing, because I'm kind of center. I've always been kind of center. Back and forth, to some things on the left, some things on the right, and the fringes, of course, on the end. But there are just some things now that are going to get the populace to move further to the right, because now they're clumping everything that is, well, you don't like this, you don't support that, you believe in genocide, is now a left thing, when you're really just saying, nah, dude, I just want to go to the fucking airport and you're blocking me. It has nothing to do with your cause. I don't even get that. So don't try to clump me into that. But which you're never gonna. The individuals that are so locked within their own confirmation bias will be locked into it so hard that they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to go, yep. I don't care what Ken says. I says, WTF Nation Moments, U.S. Army, WTF Moments, blah, blah. I don't care what he says. He says he's not supporting genocide, but he says he just wants to get to the airport. See, this is what happens. He doesn't want to support the cause or whatever. Jesus fucking Christ, I don't care. Don't put me in a position where you have to give me a choice to not care, because then you're going to get clumped into that group or into that segment anyways. And it's not going to help. That dialogue is not there. We always talk about that too. Oh, compromise. Our government needs to compromise. We need to have dialogue. As soon as you say something different, or veer off the edge of what they think you should believe, look, no one should tell you how to believe and how to think. That's for you to decide. I'm all about the First Amendment too. Also about, separation of church and state. They ain't got to mandate no religion on me. I support legislation of the sticky icky. Wow, you ain't lying. John, for those of you that don't know, or those of you that are not in tune to what the vernacular is on the streets, sticky icky is legalization of marijuana. I think personally, I've never gotten in a fight with somebody who's been high on marijuana, but I have been in a fight with people who've been drunk. How about that? Does that make sense? I've never ever seen a violent stoner. Oh, and you're right. Okay. So John says he's right. He's on the right, and he believes in the legalization of marijuana. What about motorboating? And we're still complaining about it as something as it wasn't part of the plan. I don't know. What are you talking about motorboating there, Musa? What are we motorboating? Are we talking about an actual boat or the practice of, that's a slang term, of sticking your face and going like that in the bosom of, I'm just asking. Just asking. At any rate, yeah. So let me look up the Sasquatch is the hide and sneak champion for 14 get sniper rifle. As long as it's not promotion, all about dialogue. My teacher once told me I'd be a perfect soldier if I knew how to shut the fuck up. It's different. In the execution of orders or following of orders, there are specific policies that you have to adhere to and you have to abide by. Questioning those orders or whatever would lead into, of course, the UCMJ. So I could kind of see a little bit of pushback on some things, but then I don't see that you're not going to support something. You could just do it on your off time, not in uniform, not in the capacity of your duties, if that makes sense. But there's you just look up right now, just look at some of the news of the protests and stuff, and look up Columbia University and Happy Peace Satch. What's that? No, it leads to getting smoked. Exactly. Yeah, okay, you're right. So today, just about a minute ago, was just broke on the AP, is that Columbia University has canceled its in-person classes. And a new demonstrations broke out on the college campuses as tensions continue to grow over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. As a matter of fact, let me pull up some. You want to do some window caps? We're all about the window caps. Let's put some. I protest the right to arm bears. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Some of them bears. Did you guys see the story about those individuals out in Asheville, North Carolina, where they picked up some. They were messing with some bear cubs, and they pulled them off of a tree, and the next thing you know, they free fishing without a license. How about free marriage or travel? Ooh, we want to talk about marriage. I, being of the divorce, I'm a divorce enthusiast, and I can tell you right now. Let me pull up the willow cap. As a divorce enthusiast, I think it should be it should be difficult to get married and easier to get divorced. Does that make sense? I'm not going to get into the moralistic discussions of individuals and the practicing of their relationship styles or how they deal with their relationships and all that. And that's to each his own. However, it's always been what do they call that? It's always been the battle of the sexes. It's always been the battle of the sexes when it comes to stuff like this. I want to be able to hunt and fish without asking permission. There you go. No, I do have a loud female voice when it comes to be. Listen, I never had a spank or hit any of my children. My voice is enough. I got it from my father. Oh man, Susan's. I know some individuals that can belt out some stuff too, but again, this is the Columbia University sit. It canceled it in person. I guess they had a sit-in, and they're all passing this stuff. Some of the students have been seen protesting as well. Not very. Some got caught red-handed. Some of them are like rich kids. Again, there's some of these guys are rich kids that are, and I was like, dude, you would not even last in that area. The way you act in the Middle East, you would not last a minute. Well, let's see. So here is a video of, and I'm just grabbing these from different people. from different accounts on X. I'm not fucking saying, oh, well, he's right or he's wrong. I'm just showing some of the feeds. Of course, naturally people are going to say, well, you support genocide because everything supports genocide now. This right here is a Jewish Columbia University professor, Shai Davidai, had his card deactivated and was unable to enter the campus. Who is this? This is from Charlie Kirk. Yeah, Charlie Kirk says, Columbia University. Yes, he's pro-Hamas University. Yeah. Look, I've always seen universities as the places to protest, because that's where a lot of the civil rights movements and a lot of the war protests during Vietnam happened the same way, right? You saw protests happening on campuses, and where we're going, we don't have shade. And I get some of this might be uncomfortable for some people to discuss, but again, there's no side to this that I'm taking on back and forth. But I just think that the fact that I kind of see I don't see any leadership happening right now. Nothing sadder than when your CAC doesn't work. Exactly. I'm not seeing any leadership. All I just see is like posts, on social media, and then you see like a couple of videos of him of the president walking away or not being able to speak. Or what did he say, by the way? Let's see. Let's look over here. Let's see what he said. What do you say? Okay, this is from our what the cannibal? Are you talking about no, I'm not talking about the cannibals. Which, by the way, the president did say that some cannibals ate his uncle during World War II, which I didn't know what happened with that. That I guess his plane got shot down in World War II. Landed in some area, and then the next thing you know, cannibals got a hold of him. And the country, I guess where he said, I can't remember where he said it. But here, let's look at the what is this right here? And this is this is from Fox News. I normally don't share Fox News stuff, but let's see. Fox News, don't sue us. His Uncle Joe was eating by the tribes. Yeah, exactly. Hang on. Let me let me fix the. Let me change it over right here and let's see this. This is a 3-minute spiel, so we could go ahead and have the comment.
Why is he saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals? That is a bad way to go.
Your last line it's for a laugh. It's for a funny statement, and he takes this very seriously. His uncle, who served and protected this country, lost his life serving, and that should matter.
Well, it wasn't for a laugh, because that's actually what the president said. But the White House says you should not be joking about President Biden's tall tale of cannibals eating his uncle, because it might have caused an international incident. The Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea certainly is not joking in his response to the president's story, saying this: President Biden's remarks may have been a slip of the tongue. However, my country does not deserve to be labeled as such.
Ooh.
The Prime Minister also demands America clean up the remnants of World War II. Dana, the tall tales about Ambrose Finnegan coming back to bite them.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not going to get into the diatribe back and forth, but that was just the piece right there. Apologies for sharing Fox News. I know we rarely do that, but it's just funny to watch. It's just everyone was literally. How did he get killed? Did he, Uncle Joe's uncle was eaten? Exactly. I don't know either. Cannibalism does exist, correct? But this is a new story. I like this. This is interesting. Every time there's a new story coming out, or every time there's a discussion of veterans, we have to excuse all the gaffes and stuff like that. But God forbid any other veteran make a gaffe or whatever when they're running for office, whether it be either side. And of course, they'll be held to they'll be held to closer scrutiny. I always thought that was the way to go, getting slowly eaten by laughing hyenas. They called it the Great White Festivities. You have to make a serious mistake to get eaten. I know we're going to go off. I don't want Papua New Guinea to come put a cannibal hit on me. But hey, if they're saying that this is not fucking happening and you need to clean up, clean up your stuff from World War II. And I think they're talking about the remnants and some of the equipment stuff there that they need to, because we did have a lot of, specifically in the Pacific, a lot of planes being shot down. And that Biden, the other white meat. You guys are savage. Oh, I love it. What about Trump? Yeah, what about Trump? He says the same fucking thing too. Apparently Trump's sticking up sticking up a courtroom right now, I guess, and they're having some. He's farting or something like that inside his trial. Why did I apologize for playing Fox? Because we don't normally choose a specific news, so I would apologize if we play CNN too, because CNN and Fox have their agendas, and so AP is the most what we think so far is it at least doesn't have the commentary going back and forth. They just post and whatever. But yeah, I would apologize for posting CNN too, because they get a little bit upset. Why can't we get a call for an emergency welfare check? This is like elder abuse. You ain't lying. Oh yeah, what was I saying? Let's see what he said about the Heinz 57 is not cologne. Axe introduces a new Worcestershire sauce. Is that what it is? Oh man, Solomon, you guys were at the food jokes. Need to cook that meat extremely well done. Salmonella is probably the least of your worries. Biden, it's what's for dinner. Oh my God, you guys are savage. Okay, so let's go back to the what did he say about the these? Okay, this is from RNC Research, taking a snippet from Fox News, and this is a recorded. This is him live moments ago. Oh God, I know. You guys heard that squawk right there? That was definitely a squawk there off of. That's why another thing too is we don't like. So we're gonna window cap this again from Fox, and we might leave the commentary in there because the commentary is funny. There we go. The commentary is, what does the commentary say? Reporter, do you condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses? And see, here's the thing that pisses me off about the dialogue. I don't recall him saying that, so we're just going to play the video instead of listening to their drama. Your livers all are rotten and nasty. Joe is the other white meat. You guys are your food jokes. Make sure you attend the food handlers course, by the way, before you. Okay, here we go. Let's see the.
Condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses.
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians and how they're being.
Should the Columbia University president resign?
Right this way. I didn't know that. I'll have to find out more about it.
Condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses.
God.
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians.
All right. There we go. I also had that. I didn't want to play that again because that's screaming journalist. There should be. I didn't know that. So you should also condemn the people that don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians. His hearing aid was all like, hold up. Yeah. Are you talking about my hearing aid? I don't have a hearing aid. Yeah, they're exactly that, Cass. They're like, right this way, Mr. President. God, don't say anything. Don't talk. Don't ask him any questions. I bet you they were, when he's walking by or when he's doing a presser, they're like, please don't say anything. I can just imagine there's somebody like in the back going, okay, please don't fucking say anything. Please don't say anything that's going to piss him off. Please don't say anything that's going to piss him off. And then someone's going to be like, well, I was just thinking that maybe you should go. And he stops. He has that glitch, right? He has that glitch where he stops and he goes, turn up the volume some so you can hear my voice. I am talking. I am loud. I'm already loud. How can you not know what I'm saying? If I'm away from the mic, then yeah, you can't hear me. But if I'm close to the mic, then yeah, you can hear me. Ribeye is just a back soldier meat. Shoulder. Sorry, Susan. Back shoulder. Why am I saying soldier, not shoulder? Shoulder. Let me see what's the other ones in here too. There was another one in here that I was looking up. Iraq was a response to you. Iraq is my response to me. Oh, okay, gotcha. Where is it at? Fox again? Yeah, because Fox was the one that had it. So here's another one here. This is who's this individual here? Okay, here's the
protected. Bernie, you're the best. And
it is especially important that we remember the power of young people shaping this country today, of all days, as we once again witness the leadership of those peaceful student-led protests on campuses like Columbia, Yale, Berkeley, and many others. It is especially important that we remember the power of young people shaping this country today, of all days, as we once again witness the leadership of those peaceful student-led protests on campuses.
Protected. Bernie, you're the best. And Representative Ocasio-Cortez in New York, you know, I learned a long time ago, listen to that lady. Listen to that lady. We're going to talk more about another part of the world, too, real quickly. Look, joined by all of your advocates and community leaders, this is a good day. It's fitting to be here in Prince William. Protect Bernie is the best. And,
what's up with that, John? What are you talking about, John? I must have eaten that Biden meat and caught the dementia that prevents proper enunciation. Well, being the fact that I already speak 4 languages already there, John, and you guys know that already. Why are you breaking balls, man? Speaking of which, man, oh God, I had a migraine. And I recorded a podcast on yesterday with and holy God. I hope it was a good podcast. I think it was a good. I hope the host was able to use AI because when I have a migraine, it was low key migraine. Took some meds to kind of like tone it down because it was hurting. And I'm thinking, man, I hope I can crack his whack, yo. I was hoping, man. I hope she's got the I hope she's got the AI use or can edit and stuff because I was when I get a migraine, it's almost legit. It's almost like I can't pronounce words. It's all it hurts to look at light. It hurts. So you're Mongolian, huh? I see you're Mongolian and raise you Irish Prussian. Now we're starting to go back and forth on the on our lineages here. And so anyway, so yeah, it was a pretty bad migraine. It was so I hope that I was able to push that podcast over, and hopefully I won't have to do a reshoot because man, it was hurting. So if you hear it, I might sound slurred or whatever. It's probably because you didn't see me on the other end, keeping my head down and all that. But I did make up some jokes, and I was able to be my normal self. I try to be my normal self. I'm Native American, a Native Regency, delicious cast. All right, let me see. What was the other thing I wanted to look at? What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? There's another one here. Because the vitriol going back and forth and all this stuff is pretty freaking crazy. It's like, look, we cannot. I can't even say anything anymore without being said I'm going to support genocide. While at the same time, if you say anything else about the other side, then you're not supporting the other side. Man, the DNS test. I heard. Did you hear about that? They 23andMe. Somebody sent in 23andMe. They used a lizard, and they got the DNA of a lizard, and they used the DNA of the lizard for to mark where it was from. So I don't really trust it. What happened afterwards? After the speech? I don't know. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, you got it right here. Hang on. This is from who's this guy? Benny Johnson on the X. So he just says that he wanders off with AOC in the woods with AOC. There he goes. I guess he's wandering off. I hope we don't get zucked playing all this stuff here. I wonder what they're talking about. And then she walks away, all pissed. Does she walk away all pissed off? Look at that. Like, what do you tell her here to make her walk off? She kind of gave that. Look at that. Look what she said right here towards the end. She tilts her head back like fuck off. Watch. And held back, fuck off. She's always pissed off, right? Exactly that, Casper. She's hot. Come on, guys. Come on. We're supposed to be keeping this clean. This is a family show. So let me look up that one story right quick. That story about the lizard at 23andMe, because I thought it was funny. Let me look it up right quick. Let me pull that story up before we go on break and get the host ready to go. And now again, this is circulating on a TikTok, and you know how much TikTok is, but it's already been. I do not use this 23andMe, so there's already been some community notes on it saying that it's a joke, that there's no way this could possibly have happened, or there's no way that this is a thing because they use cheek swabs, and it's probably not true. But I'm just saying, man, there's some shady stuff with 23andMe from what I've seen, and it shows tells people that they're from somewhere they're not, or the government's selling. Okay, hang on, let me put this up here right quick so you guys can see. Let me pull up the vid. No, you love TikTok. Yeah, TikTok and X, Holly are. TikTok, I'm not on TikTok. All I see is the people going, Stitch coming. They'll point something behind them. Stitch coming, and that's funny too. So let me pull up this video right here. And so again, this has been kind of like community noted.
I wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe, and so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
Now again, this is on X. This has been posted as a community note is probably not true. It doesn't say it's a lie. It doesn't say it's false. It just says this is a joke and this is probably not true. But do you think that the 23andMe scam, I should say, let me take that back. The 23andMe platform or what they do, is it a scam? I don't know. So anyways, let me let's see what else is up, and we're going to go on a break, and then we're going to have our guest come on. And again, this is going to be I think this is going to be a good talk. This is a topic that we've always talked about, and this is a topic that goes back and forth. We've had people arguing and calling back and forth. But this is the first time I've ever seen this topic with school safety when it comes to active shooters. I've seen come up with a plan. Everyone likes to talk about a lot of drama about gun safety and all that, but I've never seen anybody come up with a legit plan to fix it, aside from the vitriol outside. So we're going to take a break right quick, and then we'll have Laura come on from Faster Colorado, and then we'll be right back. So everyone refill your glasses, get your smokes going, because I think it's going to be a good convo. So we'll see you in a sec.
If that's really a thing, and I get authorized to do it once, it's pretty much
I'm fabulous. How are you?
me sitting there talking shit like constantly.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
All you Trekkies and TV addicts, don't mean to this, don't mean to bring static. All you Klingons in your grandma's house, grab your backstreet friend and get loud, blowing doors off inches, grab you with the pinches. And no, I didn't retire, I'll snatch you off with the needle nose pliers.
Like a person with the bass, so not goofy like they're in a haste, so I'm a pop, making it nice with practice me running that you know. All right. So what's up with that? I got friends and family that I respect. When I think I'm too good, they put me in check. Don't believe when they say I'm no better than you, except when I rap, so I guess it ain't true like that, Joel, and you just don't stop. Guaranteed to make your body rock. Check it out. What's it all about? Work it out. Let's turn this party out. Check it out. What's it all about? Work it out. Let's turn this party out. Say, Doc, what's the condition? I'm a man that's on a mission. Said, son, you better listen. Stuck in your is an electrician. Like the scientist. When I'm applying this method of controlling my mind like Einstein rap the Duke of what? Now, hey, nigga, but now what the deal? I didn't know you go for that mass appeal. So I'm calling to Lucci. Some of my potato. I stole your mic, but you won't see it later. Cause I work magic like a magician. I add up the mathematician and the bank cashier, engineer. I wear cotton and I'm going to cruise past ya. Yo, money, don't jump yourself. Put that back on the shelf. Flames blazing, yeah, I'm phasing. My crew's amazing. We're working on the record, y'all, so just stay patient. Check it out. What's it all about? We're working out. Let's turn this party out. Check it out. What's it all about? We're working out. Let's turn this party out. Now I go by the name of the King and Rock. I don't wear a cup nor a jock. I bring the that's beyond bizarre, like Miss Piggy. I am the one with the clientele. You say at rock, you rock so well. I got class like pink champagne. MCA got the
Facebook Live. I've never heard of this shit.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with my guest, Laura from Faster, Colorado. How you doing, Laura?
I'm fabulous. How are you doing?
Oh, so glad to have you on here. I love this type of conversation we're going to be talking about. I know a lot of people are adamant to hear or even pay attention to the discussion. So it is an honor to have you on here. So Laura Carno is from Faster, Colorado, and she represents an organization that provides a unique outlook to school safety. I know. Look, we're just gonna have to say it. There was a situation to where an individual would want to come on to a school and do harm, whether it be an adult or a student. And so Laura's got representing an organization that I think is a pretty good solution. So the floor is yours, Laura. Welcome.
Thanks. Appreciate you having me on. And the long format, the ability to kind of get into some details that we typically don't get into in a quick radio interview or TV interview. This is just such a great format. So thanks for having me
of course.
On here. Yeah. So let me set a little bit of a backdrop. So there are 34 states in the United States that have some sort of a legal path to do this same thing. And so people, like, that's a number that most people say, why haven't I heard about it if it's the majority of the states? And most of these policies nationwide are done more quietly for some obvious reasons. And so there's lots of school staff out there just carrying concealed through whatever the legal process is in those states. And nobody's talking about it because we shouldn't be talking about it. Concealed carry means concealed carry. They are on campus protecting children. So Faster Colorado was not at all the first training organization. We actually got the idea from Faster Saves Lives in Ohio that started doing this in the days following Sandy Hook. And what's unique about Faster in Ohio and here, and there's some other states as well that have Faster branded, so to speak, training programs, is if there's a state that has a law that allows for armed staff, that doesn't mean that there's an organization like ours that has developed a training program that is targeted toward them. And that's what we've done at Faster Colorado. Our law has been around for about 20 years. We've been here for about 8 years. And what were they doing in those years before we were here? They were getting some training. They were getting adequate training somewhere, getting their hours that their insurance company said that they have to get. But we thought that they should have access to world-class training, because if, God forbid, something happens on one of our K-12 campuses, we want those armed staffers to have the best chance of saving lives, not just having had adequate training. We want them to have great training. So that's kind of the backdrop of it.
Well, and for those of you that just tuned in, we are talking about arming staff. We are talking about arming teachers. And generally, some organizations or some of the discussion, and this is what caught our interest, is that some school districts or administrations, they whether they're against it or they don't understand, there's a narrative out there that you're just going to give a pistol to somebody who's unqualified, and there you go, that's it, that's who you're doing it. And the Faster program it's not the case. Now you were saying in states, and I know you're representing Colorado specifically. How many districts in Colorado, for instance, in your state, are under this program?
Yeah, so we have in Colorado, there are 178 school districts total. We are working with people in 41 of those 178. So not a majority by any stretch, but a significant number. And it wouldn't surprise folks to know that those are mostly rural districts, about 60% are rural districts. And then that other 40% falls into the category of charter schools that are in more suburban districts, and then private schools that are in more suburban districts. But the rural schools, for sure, 20 years ago, they saw this new law and they said, yeah, that's for us, because they know they are 30, 40, 60 minutes away from law enforcement. They know that they are their own first responders, and rural areas tend to have more acceptance of concealed carry of firearms, or even in some areas, open carry of firearms. So it was just more of a comfort level as well for those folks. But yeah, now we're about 60-40 rural to suburban.
Faster is all in all caps. Is that an acronym? What is it?
It is an acronym. Okay. Again, I got this from Ohio. So a little brief origin story. In 2013, we recalled a couple of state senators here in Colorado over their gun control votes.
Oh, okay.
And I did a lot of national media. I was a part of that. I did the media in the recall campaign, radio, TV, stuff like that. And but as part of that, I was doing some national media, and some guys from Ohio, a group called Buckeye Firearms Association, said, hey, we saw you. Can we come out and help with your recall? And so they came out on their own dime, and they walked and called and went to gun ranges and passed stuff out at high school football games on Friday night. They were amazing.
Awesome.
So after we recalled these state senators, they said, you should come see what we're doing, training armed staff. And so I went to a Faster Saves Lives class in Ohio, and I just came back a changed person. I'm not a real emotional processor. I'm more of a logical processor, but man, it was an emotional experience for me. And mainly because I met all these class members who to a person would die to protect children. And I don't have a bunch of teachers in my family, so I'd never been around this many teachers, and teachers and other school staff, I should say. But that's how they were talking. They would say, I am going to run toward the sound of gunfire and save children. And if I don't have my firearm, I'm going to just put my body between bullets and children. I would like a chance to live so that I can stop the killing, protect the children, and go home to my spouse. And it was a life-changing experience for me. So I came back to Colorado, understood where our law was, and we already had an appropriate law that had been in place for a while. And so I just sort of put my nose to the grindstone and said, we need great training like they have in Ohio, and sourced some really great law enforcement, active duty law enforcement instructors, and a medical person, because we do a little bit of stop the bleed type practice. And we were underway in 2017. So we just started our 8th training season.
Oh, wow. Now, FASTER stands for Faculty Administrator
Sorry.
Safety.
That's what you asked. And I went
no. This is great because I got more underneath that.
Yeah. So I got that from Ohio.
Gotcha.
I was just going to say, they licensed the name to me for $0, and FASTER stands for Faculty Administrator Safety Training and Emergency Response. But why I wanted it is I love that notion of faster, that the faster we stop the killing,
yes,
and the faster we stop the bleeding,
yes,
the fewer people die. And I just wanted that to be in people's heads.
Now, the controversy is now it gets into the gun control discussion, or why there's teachers armed. Why do we have to have teachers armed? Are you sure someone's going to be trained? There are specific requirements under this program to, I guess you would say, pass or to certify. What are some of some of the testing or some of the qualifications that you have to do for it?
Yeah, and let me just say nationwide, wherever folks are listening, nationwide, there are standards. So 8 years ago, I thought that when the people who were opposed to this policy were saying exactly what you're saying, that anybody's going to be able to have them, I thought they were just ill-informed.
Mhm.
Now, 8 years later, I think that they know better and they don't care. And they just keep saying all of those old talking points
Mhm.
because they do know now. Nationwide, there are standards. Some states have a law that says here's what the training needs to look like. States that don't have a law, the insurance companies that are insuring schools that do this magically come up with the exact same range of qualifications. So everybody's getting qualified in some manner.
Okay.
So what we do here in Colorado, our law, the training isn't written into statute, but again, insurance companies they have lots of skin in the game on what could happen. So they require a certain number of hours. They don't require medical training. They don't require that the instructors have any sort of high level qualifications like ours do, but they have the hours, and they also require that they pass the post qualification. And what that is here in Colorado, post is Peace Officers Standards and Training, and it's the firearms proficiency test that law enforcement passes when they get out of the academy, and the one that they have to requalify on every year.
Oh, wow.
So when you come through faster, you're taking that same test and you have to requalify every year, just like law enforcement. We actually make it more difficult. We've added 2 shots to the qualification, and they have to pass at 100%.
Oh, wow.
So it is a qualification standard that actually exceeds that law enforcement in Colorado has to pass. Some people say, well, wait a minute, a police academy is this long and your class is only this long. Yeah, because they don't have to learn car chases. They don't have to learn drugs. They don't have to learn.
They don't have to know de-escalation techniques. They don't have to know law. You're
all of this stuff. Yeah,
you're given the physical. You're given the physical execution of an event to react to.
Right.
Right.
And
go ahead.
And let me just real quick, let me address, because you brought up the word de-escalation. Part of the class, the faster classes, there is a part of it that's de-escalation, because the just like law enforcement, the firearm is a tool. De-escalation is also a tool, and so there are many things that your firearm's not going to come out for. There is, one very narrow set of circumstances that firearms coming out for. So we do talk about some de-escalation just as a part of the course.
Now, as far as the range time, because I was snooping around some of your media, it looks almost like a military type. I don't want to say military like, because then people are going to think, oh, you're militarizing the staff. But you guys, your classrooms are stubby pencil. I mean, it's a stubby pencil event. And I mean, you got the fundamentals right there. You got it discusses the fundamentals, the manipulations, and all that. Who do you have to provide this training?
Yeah. So, and that was really the hardest part when we set this up, was what should our training staff look like? And what was really important to me setting this up was that the community has a good comfort level, that this isn't just, plinking in my Uncle Joe's backyard.
Right.
This is serious training. So I see that you've got this is actually from our last weekend's class.
Mm-hmm.
And this is at a law enforcement training center. All of the training we do, we're in a couple of different places, are at law enforcement training centers.
Okay.
So, and the guys that you see there, and actually the gal in the middle was a candidate for state legislative office who was interested in seeing what we do, because there was a law this year or a bill this year that was trying to get rid of this. And she was very interested in following those details. That got killed. But she said, I want to know what actually goes on out here. I want to meet your instructors. So the guy in the middle in that picture, Quinn Cunningham. He's our lead instructor. He's been in law enforcement for 25 years. He runs an academy, SWAT guy, SWAT
Oh, wow. Okay.
training. They here in Colorado, it's called post full skills, meaning it's not just they can do the post qualification, but they know all of the things. His bio is like this long of all the things that he's qualified to teach. But all of the rest of our instructors, they are in all different law enforcement agencies and have some role in instruction. And we do have a medical guy who's not law enforcement. He's a fire battalion chief, but he's also a Marine, and he runs their active shooter response team for fire. And he's a firearms instructor. So he's a great addition to our team as well. But every time we have a class, I kind of pinch myself and go, I get to do this, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
So, but it's the police having it at law enforcement training facilities, having law enforcement instructors. I really purposefully did this because I wanted the community to feel that sense of comfort that this is serious training, because there is that narrative out there that, you know, I'm pulling up to every school with a wheelbarrow full of guns and doing the Oprah, you get a gun and you get a gun. That's not happening.
I'm telling you, if you, I mean, you're on X, you're on Twitter, and you see the vitriol, and you see the friction of oh my God. And I mean, again, another reason why we wanted you to come on is because I'm a skeptic, but I'm always a skeptic until someone explains it to me and then gives me the data. You guys got some pretty good data, but you also provide, and this, I maybe I clicked it a little ahead, but you guys also provide packs too once the complete training's complete, correct? And this is part of the training.
Right. Yeah, so that's a personal trauma kit, and so our medical instructor Mark worked with us on, you know, what are the things that are going to be the most critical for your personal kit,
right?
And for anybody who, and this is very similar to what happens in the military, you have to have your personal the ability to self rescue. And next comes buddy rescue, and next comes other people. So we do a short part of the class on stop the bleed. We do practice throughout the class. You know, we might be at the range, and everybody's got a training tourniquet on them, and in the middle of something, keep your gun pointed down range and apply your tourniquet to your strong side leg, something like that.
Yeah.
So that they get that in the middle of, you know, also needing to save lives kind of thing. But yeah, part of their class tuition is we send them home with that personal trauma kit. We do the vacuum seal in my basement here in Colorado. It's cheaper that way if we get all of the pieces and assemble it, as opposed to buying a kit that's already put together. And we're a nonprofit organization, so we are always pinching pennies. So.
Right. I was about to say your status is a nonprofit.
Yes, we're a 501c3.
And then the tuition of it. I mean, if you look at the tuition, I was looking at the level 1 classes and the subsequent levels. It's actually not bad. I mean, because you're getting trained. You're getting trained by professionals, and you get range time. So does that include does that include the ammo? What do you guys provide when you do the training? Like when I sign up and say, hey, I want to do Faster Colorado, what do I do? What's the step?
You need to bring your ammo and then your gear. We have a big list of gear requirements and what kind of holster and all that kind of stuff, and then your ammo. So your tuition is your 3 days instruction, the personal trauma kit that you saw, and then we really develop I'm going to call it lifelong, 8 years long relationship with these folks. So in our higher level classes, we have people in some of our classes that were with me in our 2017 initial class that are going to stay armed and stay trained as long as they have their careers and in their school. And so there's a little bit more to it than, you know, just the class, because they have that relationship with us. The other thing is we have 2 retired superintendents that work with us, and they both were in Colorado school districts and had what we thought were among the best programs that we had seen. And when I say the best programs, there's so much more that goes into it besides coming to FASTER training. You have your vetting process. Who is the school going to allow into this? How are there grants that they can apply for to pay for this? Just all of that financial stuff and the training in between their annual classes. How are they going to pay for that? The policies and procedures. What happens if you need to kick somebody off of the arm? Like there's all of that stuff. So when you're plugged into the FASTER network, you also get access to guys like that have been down this road and can help coach new schools. We've even had newer school districts that ask one of our retired supers to sit on their interview panel while they're interviewing people and see, like, did you see any red flags we didn't see, and that sort of thing. Because it's really critical that you have the right people with the right mindset on these armed teams.
Now this is, how do I say this? The goal is to have not have every teacher armed. I mean, that would be a goal, I guess. But this is pretty much you have an armed faculty member and on the staff that could react to it. And so, what's been the pushback? Has anybody come up to you and said, "Hey, like you were just talking about"? I guess there was a statute that authorizes employees for school boards to be armed or authorizes them as security officers. What pushback have you gotten on it?
Yeah, so there are always going to be school boards. Since in Colorado, it's the school board is the authorizing body. Other states, it's different. But there are always going to be school boards that say that's absolutely not happening. So for anybody who's familiar with Colorado, Denver is never going to do this. Boulder is never going to do this. That's just not going to happen.
Right, exactly.
And there's a couple of buckets of pushback. One is from people who, I'm going to say, they wish they didn't have to think about this. And we know those people that that's not going to happen at my school. That's not going to happen in my community. People like that tend to push back and say, we're in the middle of the suburbs. Law enforcement is just a few minutes away. We don't need that. Well, right here in Colorado, we've had a couple of school shootings that didn't make huge national news because there was only one child, I'm putting in air quotes,
of course,
only one child killed at each school. So they don't make that list of mass shootings. But one of those, Arapahoe High School, one of those STEM school, both in the suburbs. The first one, there was a school resource officer on scene, complete opposite end of the campus, sprinted and got there in 46 seconds. But Claire Davis had already been shot and subsequently lost her life. STEM school, when the two killers came into the room, 18-year-old student Kendrick Castillo got up and lunged at the shooter, taking the fatal shots to his body, but saved an entire room full of his friends. So those aren't going to make the national news as mass shootings. And that's why I like to bring them up, because people need to know that they happen, but they were in the suburbs. The second one at STEM school, it was right up the road from a police substation, and they were there in like a minute and a half. But in both of those cases, it was not in time to keep those children alive.
Right.
And so when people say we're in the suburbs, we're okay, I call BS on that. Because if those were your children, that's not okay. And so much can happen just in a couple, 3 minutes. Those are extreme examples, but so much can happen in just a few minutes. Colorado Springs, which is a larger metro area, it's smaller than Denver here, but it's, I don't know, 600,000 people in the area, I think. They recently reported that their police department has an 11-minute response time.
Oh, wow.
And that is in, it's in a very populated area.
Densely populated too.
Densely populated. And I think they want to get I think they're putting this out there because they want to get a tax increase from our cops. But anyway, that's my political hat.
I think driving around before, in my experiences in the area, they need to fix the freaking roads before first.
They have the worst roads in Colorado Springs. We used to live there before we moved north a little bit.
Oh
but,
man.
Yeah, the roads are terrible there. But yeah, so the people who say, I wish I didn't have to think about it, I put them in the bucket of, we're in the suburbs, we're going to be fine. And it's I hate to use the word denial, but it's I'm going to push it out and I'm not going to think about it.
Almost blinders, almost like they have blinders. To reality. Now look, and this is where the discussion of arms, weapons, and around kids and all that, and you're always going to have actors, bad actors, whether it be students with dealing with whatever mental issues they have, or just plain evil, or adults. I just read right before we started talking. There was a guy that tried to kidnap a kid off campus.
Yeah,
and I'm just thinking, that was it. Oh, he just tried to kidnap him, and luckily, other students ordered it away. But I'm thinking, this policy, that the statute is that it's legal for Colorado to have an employee that's authorized to carry a concealed, that could be a janitor, administrator, a bus driver, a principal, a teacher, a food service worker. So I'm thinking, I don't want to say this as a, hey, I told you so, but do you have those skeptics that have to get briefed those facts?
Yeah, and the kidnap attempt was in Aurora, which is a suburb just to the east of Denver. Another district that will probably never go this direction. And just speaking of that kidnapping, in Utah, there was an attempted kidnapping stopped by an armed school staff member. I don't know, a number of months ago, maybe 6 months ago, but yeah, so occasionally, this is what I hear occasionally. So there's a group called Moms Demand Action that is part of the original Bloomberg. I think they initially called it Mayors Against Illegal Guns.
They blocked me. A couple of them have blocked me on because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And somebody just sent me a link here. Kelly Worthman from Kelly on TV. I guess it was a CBS News Colorado. Here, I'm gonna window cap so we can just see this right here. Oh, it's just I got a picture of the individual that tried to do it, and there you go. And you should be able to see it too.
Yeah. When I saw that picture on my morning news, and it made me jump.
It's just like,
I don't know that I've seen a scarier criminal.
I know. I mean, this right here is like, this guy was let me just read a little bit from their byline. Is this man was arrested for allegedly trying to kidnap a child in Aurora elementary school. Per his arrest affidavit, fifth graders were screaming "stranger danger" as the sex offender lunged at one of the kids. Now, parents are upset with how the school responded and its safety protocols. And there's another one here. The mother of the little boy who was nearly taken shares why she believes that CCSD K-12 failed to keep her child and others safe. My son hasn't slept in 3 days, and there's no accountability, and safety is obviously not a priority. Now,
yeah, and just real quick, living in the media market with this story. And CCSD is Cherry Creek School District.
That's okay.
This is not the first time that in our news market we have heard parents complaining about safety issues in that school district. Just so you know, this isn't their first
run-in. Yeah, I was about to say their first run-in with the parents. Now in this situation, I mean, a group of fifth graders are not strong enough to overpower anybody. I mean, I mean, that guy looks like he was wigged out. Anyways, you just see by the picture, he was probably on something. And I again, I don't want to use this as a I told you so scenario.
Mm-hmm.
but it's looking that way. It's looking like this is a scenario what we would have had if I think, I don't know, or some of the recess, I guess, I know back when I was growing up, there was a teacher always out there watching the kids during recess. Right. To the legal aspect, and this is a question, I mean, I don't know if your legal background is, man, we didn't even get in your background. I'm sorry.
I am not a lawyer. You can say that about my background.
Okay. But does this fall into some sort of castle doctrine / stand your ground or protect kids? Because you would think that in some states they would have laws to where it would be a little bit more understanding if you were to take action. Basically, if you just shot this guy trying to take a kid, if you're out there supervising recess, I wonder what the law would be or what the community would say.
Yeah, so part of our FASTER classes, we do teach the Colorado use of force law.
Okay.
So that we give them pre-work, they've got to answer a bunch of stuff and then come to class prepared for that. And they all get it when they get their concealed carry permit, but we think it's worth going over again. So there are things that need to be met, conditions that need to be met on when you can use lethal force. And it could be a firearm, a knife, it could be your hands if you're lethal with your hands, that sort of thing. So it would have depended on if there were those characteristics in that situation. I don't know if he was armed, if he was, able to, kill somebody or create great bodily harm or something like that. But
right. Well,
that would have needed to be
that was my biggest thing too, is that you're protecting. I mean, you're protecting a child.
Right.
So at this point, I'm
the jury's going to be on your side.
Yeah. Well, it just depends how much. Because I'm a former soldier, so it would be a half a mag of ammo if this guy was stopping, and I was trained, according to your classes, or if I was
sure.
It would kick. I would definitely kick. My training would kick in and would end the threat.
Yeah.
And
the other interesting thing that Colorado has that I haven't seen in other states, and this happened after the Arapahoe High School shooting where Claire Davis lost her life.
Mm-hmm.
The Davis family went to the school and they said, "What did you know about the guy? When did you know it?
Exactly.
All that stuff." The school refused to give them information, and this was during our legislative session. So there was a rare bipartisan late bill. And it ended up being called the Claire Davis Act, and it requires schools to do. And there's words like there's words that can be interpreted by courts that are actually going kind of through the courts right now with the STEM school shooting, but that they need to do things that are reasonable to make sure that they are keeping kids reasonably safe.
Right.
And so right after Claire Davis Act passed, we were hearing from school board attorneys saying, my schools are asking if armed staff would help them with Claire Davis Act, because that's an extra step to keeping kids safe, which I think is again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's an interesting, way for schools to approach that law. But I think for the first time kind of formalizes, it is your job to keep children safe. And, whether it's on the playground or, if there's a kid that everybody knows is a bad kid, like in Parkland, and everybody said if it happens, he's going to be the next school shooter. And sure enough, he was.
The same thing with Sandy Hook as well, as like Adam Lanza. Everybody knew that he had mental issues, and a lot of it is, I think, nobody likes to talk bad news. Nobody likes to brief bad news. Everyone thinks it's a reputation hit or something if you bring up something that's bad, and that's what I think. I would say it. That's what pisses me off the most, anyways, about the discussion of school shootings, is that nobody likes to get into what were the red flags up to that, even though a lot of gun control advocates want to talk about red flags, if that makes any sense.
Right.
I'm just thinking, because the guy right now is sitting at $25,000 a bond, and everyone's like, okay, why isn't he, is there going to be what trial? I would think that something that has to do with children, for where gun control advocates like to use children as the example, it would be a harsher sentence or be no bond granted,
Right. And this is the crazy thing. So you've got everybody's comfortable with armed guards in Congress and armed guards at the bank and air marshals and armed pilots and all that stuff. But all of a sudden, when you go, okay, this geography of this school building, no, nobody can be armed. And I don't get that because and I'm a grandparent now, so I'm past the worried about kids. I'm worried
Right.
about my little grandkids.
Right.
There is nothing more precious on this earth to me than those two little kids.
Right.
And the notion that they are not worth armed protection, whether it's armed staff or whatever, just the notion of they're not worth armed protection, but members of Congress are.
Members of Congress, and their children have armed
And their
staff,
children.
You know,
If you go to a mall, and I haven't been to a mall in a while,
and same here.
until this weekend when we took our little 6-year-old granddaughter on a little adorable shopping spree.
Mhm.
I hadn't been to a mall in ages, but there are armed guards in department stores.
Mm-hmm.
There was an armed guard by the lingerie department, and it just struck me. Our lingerie is guarded by an armed guard. Our children are unguarded.
Unguarded.
I don't
want to
get
laugh
this.
at it. I want to laugh at it, but it's like you're laughing at the
Right.
irony. You're laughing at the irony. Like, wait a minute, what's the
Right, but I
wanna
don't
say irony, but-
understand. I don't want to. I don't understand what it is about this magical place called a school building that people apply different rules to it.
Mhm.
And there was a state legislator this last week that said just a bunch of terrible gun control bills going on here in Colorado. It's gotten pretty crazy.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too because I know this is the. Oof, go ahead.
Yeah. So she said, I'll paraphrase. She said, "Our schools are safe havens. Our children are safe at school because they're safe havens because they're gun-free zones."
Mm-hmm.
And do you live in Colorado? Do you know that we had Sandy Hook?
Mm-hmm.
Or not Sandy Hook?
Columbine.
Where am I? Columbine. We just had our 25th anniversary of that.
Right.
What are you talking about? Because not only did we have Columbine, we had Arapahoe, we had Sun School. This isn't okay. And she said, our schools are safe havens for children because they are gun-free zones, as if there's some magical bubble around a school. And we've all seen the meme. The guy goes up all armed to a school. He sees the gun-free zone and he says, "Shucks, I can't go."
Yeah, it turns right. Yeah, exactly.
That's not a thing. So yeah, it's I'm not sure what goes on in the heads of people like that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you have currently right now in Colorado, you have some gun control bills that seem to be like, I mean, like on rapid, no pun intended, rapid fire.
Oh, it's all of them.
It's just flying out. You have this. You have the. They're talking about not granting concealed carry. They're talking about the assault weapon, quote unquote, assault weapons ban. And I'm thinking, are these individuals not in tune of what's currently going on with society? It's almost like you want to think that, like you just said, it's a magical place where nobody will get hurt. Yeah. And then if something happens, it's almost like I will say it. It looks like they're using this as an excuse for gun control.
100%.
And so you're thinking, so tell me about this tell me about this. What's going on? I guess his name is Hernandez, Representative Hernandez or something like that.
Yeah. Tim Hernandez. So in Colorado, if a legislator leaves office mid-term, there's a process called a vacancy committee to replace them.
Okay.
And instead of it going back to the ballot of all the electors in that district.
Gotcha.
So, and the vacancy committee might be 20 to 50 people that are party insiders.
Okay.
Right now on the Democrat side of the legislature, there are something like 60-70% of the legislators are appointed via vacancy committee because other people left to go on to another job or what have you.
Gotcha.
And so what has happened is those vacancy committees skew further left than where the mainstream Democrats are, if you will. Hernandez and Epps, Elizabeth Epps, I refer to them as the Hamas caucus because after everything that happened in Israel, Hernandez has a Palestinian flag on his desk on the House floor.
Yeah, I think I
where
saw.
most
I think when October 7th kicked off, we did a little, not an expose, but we did a coverage of who supports it or who didn't support it or who's silent.
Yeah.
And I remember didn't he also got questioned too? Somebody said, "Hey, do you support Hamas?" And he was having some of his people like push anybody asking questions away.
Yes, exactly. And then Elizabeth Epps was when there was, I think it might have been if they were talking about October 7th, or maybe it was Holocaust Remembrance Day or something. So that was going on the floor. She went upstairs to the gallery. She had her, I think it's called a keffiyeh, the black and white, around her shoulders. There was a Republican Jewish member of the legislature at the well speaking, and she was yelling at him, heckling him from the gallery. She was removed by the sergeant at arms from the gallery. It was, I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
So I think that, the all of these gun control bills are because this Democrat caucus, has skewed so much further to the left than the average Democrat here in Colorado is. That's my sense of why it's happening. But yeah, it's all of them. It's
so is he so that assembly then put him in office? Is that what you're saying? That assembly
a vacancy committee.
A vacancy committee. So that vacancy committee, could anybody run against him now? Like, could he?
Yeah.
And is there anybody out there that you've seen or heard maybe possibly running against him?
Yes. So the vacancy committee essentially says you're going to fulfill the remaining term, and then you have to run. And our House representatives are every 2 years, just like Congress is.
Okay.
Our senators are every 4 years here in Colorado. So it would just be the remainder of the term. So they're both running for really their first election.
Gotcha. Okay. Not given. It's not. So it's not given to them. Basically, they actually have to bust their ass.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And here's what's interesting is that the Democrat Party in Colorado is running somebody in a primary against both of them. So you get the sense that the Democrat Party is like, holy shit, they don't represent us. We've got to get somebody more normal Democrat. And it's interesting because when you're in the majority, these are the kinds of things that happens. It happens in Republican majorities too.
Exactly. I was about to say
that there are all those factions.
Well, they're pushing. They're pushing. Well, you just said it right there. These are people that are currently in the seat, but they're using another Democrat to run against them. You would think with somebody with so much, I guess you would say, energy behind them, it would kind of stick with them to war game it. To okay, we'll put this guy in the seat. Then after we put him in the seat, we'll get him in there, and then we'll give a more established one, because it just seems like right now I mean, I'll see the news feed and someone will say, "Yeah, it's happening in Colorado." I'm like, "What?" And this is happening in Colorado. I'm thinking, wait a minute, and that's happening in Colorado. I'm thinking, what the hell's going? I mean, the biggest. I mean, the gun control bill, the assault weapons ban, also the Supreme Court ruling against them for removing Trump off the ballot. Whether you like him or not, removing anybody off the ballot is wrong, anyways. To me, let the voters decide. But now that you just said that, I'm surprised that the Democratic Party in Colorado would run somebody against those two. It would be more like a foot soldier, I guess, to their agenda.
So and that's kind of the point. It's like, gosh, they're too progressive for even the Democrat Party. But yeah, I'm with you. I am tired of seeing my home state on national news over and over again because it's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's not that it's just. Well, here's again, it's because I was raised out west. I retired from the military, and and through the military, I was back and forth overseas, and on the East Coast. So I hear all the stories from where I was at, from the West to North Carolina, to Florida, to New England, to California, to Colorado, to Nevada, to Arizona, all my places that I've been at. And I kind of keep it, attention and keep tabs on it. But you're right. It legit. And I'm pretty open on Twitter. I shit post and like you, not like you, but you don't throw memes, but I do. I will poke fun and all that. I can't believe that the Democratic Party will be willing to risk a seat, 2 seats actually. You said there was 2 seats, with this guy, because then all you're seeing is because isn't Colorado around the city quasi blue, whatever color they want to be?
Very blue, and that's where those 2 seats are.
Exactly. And then the other ones, the entire state. Somebody, I'll have to put it up. I'll look for it again. But somebody sent me a map because I asked what's the demographics of the political side, and it's all red around it, and the majority of it's red or undecided, and a lot of Black and Latino voters are against a lot of these bills as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm thinking, who's I mean, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories and tinfoil stuff, but who's pushing it? Who's somebody in DC that's pushing this? Because I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm ranting.
No, that's okay. And I don't think we need somebody in DC. There's a book that was written before 2000, maybe right around 2000, called The Blueprint. And it was written by a former legislator and a journalist about Colorado. And it was the left's plan to turn Colorado blue because it was a fairly reliable red state. And basically it was and if anybody's interested in this, it's actually a very interesting book called The Blueprint. And there was 4 billionaires or big millionaires that got together and said, here's what we're going to do. And this all surrounded when Colorado passed. It was some I don't remember if it was about gay marriage. I don't remember if it was something along those lines. And a couple of those billionaires either were gay themselves or had gay family members, and it really hit them personally. So they said, this isn't going to happen. We're going to take it back. And it was a blueprint. They laid out what they were going to do. They put their money together that we're going to have an organization that does this and this and this and this. And they took over Colorado. One of those, they called it the Gang of Four. One of those Gang of Four was a young man named Jared Polis, who had inherited Blue Mountain Greetings, I think, from his parents. So he's kind of a tech millionaire. He is now our governor here in Colorado, and he wanted to be the state's first gay governor, openly gay governor, and he is. And so you read this and you go, holy smokes, that is, they just like they laid it out, they did it. So we have
didn't he have he had a controversial abortion decision come out, right? I mean, it was didn't he say something about abortion all the way up to birth or something like that?
Well, we do. If it wasn't bad enough, yes, we are one of the states that our abortion law allows abortion up until the day of birth.
Jesus.
Yeah, but that's been here for a little while.
Oh, okay. Well, again, I've not been paying attention to politics about Colorado until you guys just started hitting the news feed.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked is because you said moms demand action,
yeah.
And then you had what's her name, Giffords.
Gabby Giffords was just here.
Was just pushing for that as well, and I'm like, okay, this is coordinated. This is not something that's simple, because I've never seen it. I've never seen something. I don't want to say Colorado's a small state or has a small government, but I've never seen it out west, out far west. Maybe California, okay.
Yeah, maybe not a big coastal state.
Right. I've seen it in Arizona. You wouldn't see it in Nevada, but to see it in Colorado, to me, like, okay, this is a pretty big push to have Moms Demand Action and Gabby Giffords coming out here for this. You think this is not grassroots at this point. They're up to something.
Well, but back to the blueprint. If they can do this in Colorado, they can do this anywhere. So I think not just my sense, but just things you hear around here is that Colorado was a test and is a test. Because a lot of the same things that they did in Colorado based on the blueprint, they're doing in Texas. And you look at the electoral college votes in Texas, a state that size, that would change electoral politics forever if they were able to do that. So we're a little bit of a testing ground. The other thing is that in Colorado, you can get citizens initiatives on the ballot. So not every state has this. And so it's no coincidence that we were one of the first states to get medical marijuana, legalized recreational marijuana, psilocybin, mushrooms, all that stuff. All of this out-of-state money comes into Colorado for these ballot initiatives, so that they can continue this sort of experiment. Like, how is this done here?
Right.
Ranked choice voting is another thing that they've got that in Alaska, and they're trying to bring that here because it potentially will make them win more forever.
Right.
So
No, I hear
yeah,
you.
all kinds of political experimentation going on
You know,
here.
that's another thing too. How has the medical marijuana or recreational marijuana lobby been there? I mean, has it done anything? Are you seeing anything? I mean, you're from Colorado anyway, so have you seen any progress? Have you seen any money going to roads, schools, education programs, any type of homeless veterans?
No,
Okay.
no. Here, so since we were one of the first states, us in Washington, we were the first states to get marijuana tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And so people would come here because it's not free pot, but it's legal pot.
Right.
But maybe they got confused, and then they had to figure out how to pay for their pot habit. Homelessness increased,
Gotcha.
crime increased. Our crime over the last 15 years is through the roof.
Wow.
I used to have a client in kind of the Capitol Hill area in Denver, and I was up there once a week, and I don't have that client anymore, but just watching that Capitol Hill area get worse and worse. I used to, when I was up there once a week, I'd go grab lunch with a colleague. Last couple of years, I would just bring my lunch. I didn't want to step over people and needles and human waste. And
I got friends that are there that live around that area, and as a matter of fact, members of the station, we all went to Denver for a George Strait concert. And I didn't want to leave. I'm like, okay, we're staying here. All right, I'm not going outside. Look at everybody. I mean, I walked around in some bad cities deployed, and there's just something you just walk around to avoid. And I'm like, they're like people. We drove by the VA, and are you for real? This is the along the highway you see encampments. That it's just incredible. I was just, because a lot of the advocates for legal weed, I'm not going to get into the legality or the reason, dealing with PTSD for veterans. I'm not going to get into that argument, but I'm just going to say is that if you're going to sell this to say it's going to stop this or help the community, and it doesn't,
right?
Then I want to know where, I guess, how we say big pharma. Where's big weed? What's big weed doing? Where's
big weed? Yeah.
Where's the big weed conglomerates at?
And when you look at the laws that were passed in the same time frame that made it easier for criminals, harder for law enforcement to do their jobs, there a couple of years back there was a law passed that they ended up having to pull back or repeal that said, grand theft auto is this, but if you steal a car that is valued at, I forget what the value was, $2,500 or less, then it's a much lower. I think it was even a misdemeanor. So all of a sudden, people are stealing these really inexpensive older cars. Well, guess who owns really inexpensive older cars? Poorer people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you're a single mom who is counting on that to get to her 2 jobs to support her kids. All hell broke loose here over that one law, and they ended up having to repeal that law. But there have been so many soft on crime, hard on law enforcement.
Well, there's
laws that passed at that same time.
Well, not to mention the fact there's also there's a Facebook group that someone sent me that I'm part of. It's called 719 Don't Drive or something like that, and it's been on the news around that local area.
Okay.
And it's the vehicle taxes are so high that individuals can't afford to pay the vehicle taxes, so they drive around on bad tags. Well, if they're trying to get to work or they can't feed their families, they have to decide, feed my family or pay this exorbitant amount of car insurance and tag fees and vehicle taxes for my car. And someone provided an example, almost $800 for a vehicle that's not even a commercial vehicle for it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you pay, for your tags, what would be, considered a lot more. I remember, like I said, just being out of North Carolina or Florida, $110 or like $80 or something like that, just to register my vehicles, and a motorcycle too. And there's somebody dropped a stub on the Facebook group, and I'm thinking, what the God, man, this is. So what are y'all doing with the road money? What I thought all this weed money was supposed to provide some sort of educational stuff, or at least pave all the freaking roads. Because like I said, when we were at the George Strait concert, I thought I had to get a suspension for the rental, and like what's going on here? I thought all this free weed, not free weed, but all this weed, legal weed was gonna subsidize some of it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of memes going around with no officer. I'm not drunk. I was just avoiding potholes. Actually,
exactly.
when I lived in the Colorado Springs area where you were talking about the how bad the roads were, a friend of mine, Rebecca Marshall, and I started a taxpayer watchdog organization called Springs Taxpayers, if anybody's in that area, and we kept an eye on the scoundrels in local government. I had to leave it because Faster just got so busy, but Rebecca still runs it.
Right.
Springs Taxpayers United is what it's called. The amount of taxes and fees and all this kind of stuff that are hitting ordinary people when they were first going to run this special tax for to fix potholes, which never got fixed. The then mayor said it's just the price of a Starbucks once a month or something like that. And I ended up debating him on this tax increase. And I said, if the mayor doesn't know anybody who can't afford a Starbucks once a month, he needs to expand his social circle.
Right,
and that was
right.
the last time we ever heard it was a Starbucks a month. But this is hurting people at the lower end of the economic scale the worst, as taxes always do.
Mm-hmm.
It's regressive.
Yeah, I don't see any support. I just shared in the chats the Facebook group, the 719 Can't Drive, where they talk about, like you said, all the memes and stuff. I know we're detracted totally from the initial conversation of Faster Colorado.
But here we are.
But here we are. But Faster Colorado has been around now for how long?
This is our 8th year.
Eighth year. Now, are you hiring? Are you looking for anybody to help out with the team?
So we're good now. We've been ramping up over the last couple of years. We've expanded to our second range, again, both law enforcement training facilities. But if there are folks out there that are law enforcement firearms instructors, shoot me a note. We do have a file of people who kind of fit that bill.
Okay.
That if we need to add, because you just never know if there's another Sandy Hook or Parkland or Uvalde or something, all of a sudden, we could double in size overnight, and we would need to tap into extra resources.
You bring up Uvalde. Oh my God, that was I mean,
horrifying.
There were officers standing outside the door. You know what I mean? That's what got me the most, is that there wasn't the fact that they were the shooter was killing innocents, and there's somebody there that was armed and they got killed. It was the fact that there were a ton of police officers outside the door, just letting it happen. And that right there is what energized me the most to be more, I guess to be more aware about the movement to arming some of the staff.
Yeah.
And look, there's already, it's not uncommon anyways. They already have they call resource officers. They're police officers. They're not just some, they're actual police officers in some states that are in this. I know in Florida does, that are there. Their job is to, and again, hey, life, it's not like back in the 80s that we all talk about. We all, what was it, that saying that they go, well, we were Gen X, we didn't have to worry about, as soon as the street lights came on, that's when we came home. Well, those days are gone. This is not a Steven Spielberg movie where E.T., where everyone's happy in their little neighborhood suburb and there's nothing happening there. We have some bad actors out there, adults and students, that have some serious issues, and this is the result. We have no other choice.
Right. We live in a broken world, and
we do. We do
face the reality of where we are and protect ourselves and our families and our school children. Shame on us, because that's our job.
Right. Exactly. Laura, thank you so much for hanging out. I mean, we could talk all night.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you hanging out. Stay on here for a minute. So there's some other admin stuff that I want to talk to you about. So,
you bet.
Laura Carno, from Faster, Colorado. Like I said, I posted a bunch of chats and links and stuff like that in all the chats and posted up on there, so that way you guys can check it out. And then y'all hang out and we'll be right back. So y'all have a good one.
There's a lot of tough talk on Twitter, but there's not a lot of real talk.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
If you bleed, you won't feel it, and you won't see nothing at all. And you can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked. If you bleed, you won't feel it, you won't see me at all. You can fight, you can hide that you're naked.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects and mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Every school should have a full-time employee whose single job would be the safety of the students. I know that some city schools have security guards. Each school district would need to determine what they need. Yeah, I agree. Because everyone's going to tuck tail and run on a subject about it's the guns, and it's always the guns. But we never look at the leading contributors who's, like Laura said, a gun is a tool to get to that point. Because I know, like I said, let me pull up that picture again of that freaking dude that tried to kidnap that kid. And you tell me, if this guy, I mean, somebody made a joke. I'm the captain now. Dude, that's classic. Oh yeah, from that movie, Captain Phillips. Yeah, you're right. I'm like, Look, man, what would you do if someone tried to take your kid that looked like this? Or actually, it didn't have to look like that. What would you do if somebody tried to take your kid? What would you do? How would you react? Well, there's a process that has to happen, and sometimes you just have to make sure that the individual's rights are accorded to. If you're trying to take my kid, man, I'm sorry. Violence is going to happen. Put TSA at the door. You know, in some schools, there are some schools that my children's have attended that they did have metal detectors. So he's ashy. Exactly. I don't know. I don't know if that's ashy or paint when he was huffing. Looks like he might have been huffing. So again. So anyways, yeah. So if this guy's coming out to get your kid, what would you do? What would you do? Yeah, exactly that. What the fuck is this guy's issue? Exactly that. So, it's a difficult topic to discuss because no one wants to think that you're going to end life to protect children. But sorry, man. Once you start harming kids, then that's it. I don't agree, and people are going to get mad. I don't think active shooters should be studied. They obviously up to the point to where they do it, but they should be put down immediately. There is no, I'm sorry, if you get it, you just happen to capture them alive, okay, you capture them alive and then immediately put to death, not immediately put to death, put to death. It should be an automatic death penalty. Automatically. For active shooters. School shooters, automatically as well. I think, we just don't understand what he was going through. There might have been some issues that he went through, and that might be, I don't know, he might have an issue in there. So, they get what they get. Exactly, Kat. They get what they get. If you're willing to abduct, now I'll be honest with you. If you're an adult grabbing a kid, you don't have good intentions kidnapping a child. There's no good intentions behind it. You see the Amber Alerts that are out there when you hear about a child being abducted, and then you hear a couple weeks later the body of the child was found, for example. Then what do you say then? Would you have wished that there was a school administrator or a janitor or somebody, like I said before in the interview with Laura? Hey, don't you wish you had the recess minder? That's what I called them when I was growing up. They're the people that make sure that you don't get in fights. They're the ones that make sure you don't sneak off and jump, climb the fence, run away. I got more issue with this guy, and you don't even see me acting out like this. Branko, I know. I mean, I'm not saying you got a lot of issues, but I'm just. Yeah, you're right. You don't have issues. You say, I mean, you got things that you're working through. How about that, Branko? You got things that you're working through. But yeah, I don't feel sorry for anybody who's gonna. Yeah, no. Oh, maybe we should have afforded him and that. Nope. Once you try to take the life of a child or try to kidnap a child, or if you're an active shooter and you begin your thing, that's immediately you forfeit everything. You deserve, like you said, Cass. You get what you get. There's a lot of people that are going to be like, oh no, I can't believe it. WTF Moments gone to that. You guys didn't know that WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, we support the Second Amendment, right? And we generally don't have any discussions about it. That's it. You don't like it. Don't want to listen. I'm going to go ahead and do some housekeeping because today you're on the Monday edition. Hang on. Let me arm the drag team storytellers. Ooh, damn! You trying to be spicy, JT? Arm the drag queen storytellers. I don't know. Some probably called bust a cap. You never know. So right now you're listening to the Monday edition again. Thank you so much, Laura from Faster, Colorado, hanging out with us and shooting the breeze. Let me put that graphic back up there because that was there we go. Laura Carno from Faster, Colorado. She's all. We got her tag. We got her organization tagged in the Facebook post and the Twitter post there. So again, you're in the Monday edition, hanging out with us. Let's do some housekeeping. What do we got going on here? What guests do we got? What new things we have happen? Again, I apologize. Hey, real quick. Oh my God, dude. Like I was saying, I did a podcast yesterday and I had a massive migraine. I mean, it was bad. So I took some medicine. And so when the podcast comes out, I hope I'm coherent. enough to sound like I'm making sense. But we're talking about a pretty good subject too. Where we're talking about the Ghost Army and Mildeck, which Mildeck already is a topic that you can't go too much into because of its classification and all that. So we were dancing around the topic, and I guess apparently under my migraine stupor, I was imitating Jerry Seinfeld as well. So not the no suit for you part, but anyways, let me get the calendar up, and then that way we can shoot the breeze. So this is the Monday edition of myself and Massey. Massey had to take a break right quick. Had to handle some family business. Tomorrow we have tomorrow. Well, today's the 22nd. So tomorrow we have the Pop Culture Warrior crew. We have Mad Mike and Michael Cotaschio, also known as the Pop Culture Warrior or CQ. And then, and then we got freaking Wednesday. Wait, let me make sure the graphics ready to go. You guys gonna be like, oh shit, we got this graphic ready to go. Where's it at? I want to be accurate in this when I said who it was that was in the show. Who's coming on to the show? I can't believe it. We're gonna have with the Sorents, with the Team Sorents on the Smoke Pit. Yeah, I got a CQ. You got a show on Tuesday. Yeah, I got you. But the Sorents, the Team Sorents are going to have John Rich from Big and Rich. Isn't that cool? That's pretty cool. Man, way to go, front desk. We're snagging John Rich from Big and Rich. I can't wait to hear the pod. I can't wait to hear the bants going back and forth. So that's going to be on Wednesday with the Team Sorents at the Smoke Pit. I just think it's cool. I just like, look at that. We got some badass graphics people too that do this shit. This is awesome. So we got John Rich from Big and Rich is going to be coming on to join the Sorents in the Smoke Pit. And then of course a Thursday is myself and Spanky at Sergeant's Time, but she's not going to be on. She's not going to be joining me. So I don't know, I might find a guest host. Maybe see if I can get maybe Janae Sergio to come on and join me or shoot the shit, or maybe find another Mill vet podcaster or something like that to hang out with me to talk Sorent stuff and Sergeant's Time for Sergeant's Time with Sorent stuff. And then Friday Night Freedom. I think Brandon Hart's going to come on. I think he's going to come on and shoot the breeze. So can't wait. Brandon Hart. And then who else we got? I'm just going through my stuff. Friday Night Freedom, of course, with Kaz and Mom. And then we have a Saturday. I don't know if you guys see, we got co-ops happening. The co-ops thing is a test. We're testing some co-ops, and that is we are streaming up one of the members of the staff, Nemo, our social media guy, is streaming with the Grunts at Grunts Gaming Network, which they're going to have an announcement as well. I can't wait to see what they got planned for us. And then, of course, Sunday with the Sports Bar with the actual King Smith. And what do you hear? What do you say? The coach. Did he ever show his face? Like I said, I wasn't. Like I said, I was out. My head hurt, so I don't know. Did he reveal his face? I don't know. Let me see. Did he ever reveal his face? Got to catch up and look at the news, see what he said. But inside the links, of course, we have 719 Can't Drive. Yep, and we're going to. I didn't see it. I'm looking through right now. But anyhow, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks again from Laura from Faster, Colorado to shoot the breeze with us. We could have gone longer. We were discussing when we were taking the break. We could have gotten a lot longer and some other stuff. So more to follow on that. Looking forward to seeing what we can work with them on and assisting them out. So I'm looking forward to that. But anywho, make sure you share, like, and follow. We're broadcasting live on 5 platforms. We're on 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, 2 Facebook pages at WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, and of course, the X app, formerly known as Twitter, at WTFNationRadio.com. So I'm glad you guys were able to hang out, to include all the haters. Love you. And I think that's it. You got anything for me? Anybody got anything else? All right. Well, y'all have a good night. Shots. See you.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry a man upon its back. When a service member or first responder takes an oath, he or she has mentally and physically committed themselves with self-sacrifice. From the front lines abroad to the very streets you live on in America, they protect. This oath is non-refundable and it is lifelong. Facing unimaginable dangers and unseen scars, these grounds are a place to recover and face any challenges head-on. As veterans and first responders ourselves, we know that battle all too well. From a simple talk with a friend on horseback to an entire debrief in the barn, this sanctuary has seen recovery take place time and time again. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in a saddle. The way we approach change isn't a new phenomenon. This animal has been with humans over 5,000 years. If you've ever been around a horse for long enough, you'll feel that thing, that electric trust. In that moment, nothing else is in your mind. When they turn into you, it's like the world disappears. We harness that moment to build skills off of. Repurposing requires flexibility, adaptability, and the willingness to challenge assumptions and conventional thinking. This approach can be applied to many areas in life, including business, education, and personal growth. To ride a horse is to fly without wings. This lesson and skills learned at war horses will help reintegrate back into daily life. You'll learn coping mechanisms, improve communication skills, trust and confidence that will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. These tools can be used every day to navigate life and take on many challenges. This may involve practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, improving communication with loved ones. Transitioning back to society is hard on your own. And when you're at war horses, you're family. And families solve problems together.
Сьогодні ти знову написала, що тобі страшно. І я знову попрошу. Ні, сьогодні я накажу відставити боятись. Погладь за мене Бармалея і спокійно лягай спати. До речі, як там Русі в школі? Скажи тату берегти серце і обійняти маму. І взагалі, давайте усміхатися. Ваші силі краса. Допомагайте один одному і виручайте. Цілуйте любимих. Святкуйте свою свободу. Ви за нашими спинами, ось такі теж надійні, не ховаєтеся, прикриваєте нас із тилу. Зробіть так, щоб ми пишалися вами. І ми повернемось. Повернемось і будемо жити.